for those of you who don't know, we've got, boy, oh boy, this weird beef we have now stirring up within the rap hip hop industry and the stand-up comedy scene. I mean, weird times, like I said, in the United States. It's weird times. And this is what happens. This is what happens when we have the interim of the presidency. Policies are getting passed. People are getting pardoned. It's the holiday time. It's exciting. The adrenaline's pumping. So you never know what people are going to say and what people are going to do. And so, listen, the stand-up comedians of the world, they've been busy these last few weeks, okay? They've been just kind of in their own feelings. They've been in their own kind of special way. Now that their boy Donald Trump won, and hey, by the way, Rogan, Theo, Tim Dillon, okay, Tony, all these people, all of Rogan's podcaster friends had the opportunity and or actually had on Donald Trump, J.D. Vance. They made the Republican vote known this year, okay? It was blatantly clear that most, not all, but most of the Rogan universe voted for Donald Trump. So now that their boy won the election, they're kind of in this new area of like, hey, Donald Trump, baby, he's back. We got free speech back from Zaddy Trumpets. Zaddy Trumpets is going to be back in office, aka our freedom of speech has never been more protected.
What are we doing?
And so they're all kind of wilding out right now. They're in their emotions. They don't know what to do. For example, we've got Brendan Schaub. He's over here crying for 30 minutes on his Thick Boy podcast from like a 4-word Nate Diaz tweet. Joe Rogan, he's on his way to becoming unhinged now. We've seen the full transformation of Joe Rogan to where he's now calling out Joy Behar for calling him out on believing in dragons, to the point where he's claiming he doesn't, but deep down, Daddy Rogan, we all know, baby, you believe in the dragon.
What are we doing?
Bert Kreischer cannot stop lying to himself. Bert Kreischer is on a podcast every single week, whether it's his own, whether he's a guest, whether it doesn't matter. Bert Kreischer will not stop talking to the camera saying, oh, I don't read the comments. I don't read the comments. I'm not affected by the comments. The comments don't bother me, bro. I don't read the comments. I don't read them. But then when he's 2 double tequilas, triple tequila, triple vodka, triple Titos and sodas deep, every single weekend, he gets on his phone, he opens YouTube Studio, and he goes directly to Reddit, and he reads every single fucking comment.
What are we doing?
And so now Bert's on his podcast crying because Reddit, in its infinite wisdom, this is why we love Reddit. I don't understand it. I don't use it. But when I hear about the things that happen over there, I get real excited. Like all the Wall Street Bet stuff, all the podcast stuff, all the drama stuff. Reddit's the place to be. I got to learn how to use Reddit, dude. But apparently, the people of Reddit are now taking bets on over-under when Bert Kreischer's gonna have a fucking heart attack and kick the bucket.
What are we doing?
And as soon as Bert found this out, he wasn't happy about it. He started crying, he started having a breakdown because he thought everyone loved him. And the issue is, when you're rising to the top, they do, Bert. When you're rising to the top, they do. They love you. You're the greatest. You're the best. And on that way up, we all did. When Donald Trump was the apprentice and just talking about rumors whispering about him being the president back in 2016, 2008, 2009, 2010 era, maybe a little later. I don't know the correct dates, but he's on The View. They're loving him. They're massaging his shoulders while he's talking about his policy and what he would do as president, and they loved it. And now, fast forward to his second term, they're calling him a monster. They're calling him a dictator. They're calling him the worst thing to ever happen to the United States of America.
What are we doing?
On your rise to the top, they will love you, and as soon as you're there, they will throw you off the cliff. We've seen it happen time and time again, and Bert Kreischer isn't handling it well, to the point where he's physically crying and being emotional on his own podcast, talking about how he doesn't read the comments, but somehow finds himself in the comment section of every single Reddit post that his name is attached to. Then you got Tom Segura, shaved his beard. Everyone fucking made fun of him. Of course, he couldn't wait to run to his wife, Christina, and cry about it. And to top it all off, we've got Tony Hinchcliffe doubling down on his Donald Trump Madison Square Garden rally, Puerto Rico joke. We covered it like 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks ago. Now we've got the official drop of garbage. Tony Hinchcliffe's new comedy set. We're not calling it a special, okay? We're not calling it a special.
What are we doing?
The Tony Hinchcliffe garbage is not a stand-up special. Tony Hinchcliffe's garbage. Here's your review. And spoiler alert from here on out. Tony Hinchcliffe's garbage is a 35, call it 30-minute stand-up set. It is not a special. It is in a 4x3 square, weird, vertical, like shape of a resolution, okay? Not HD, nothing, no 4K, nothing. Whatever they had at the Comedy Mothership, you had a few people out in the audience with HD cameras, and that's it. They didn't color correct it. They didn't do lighting. They didn't do anything. They just filmed the first 1 in 6 times that Tony's actually done stand-up on stage this year.
What are we doing?
They just filmed it and cut it and released it, and he's calling it garbage, and it's his 2024 stand-up special. The first 5 minutes, it's 37 minutes long, but the first 5 to 7 minutes, he says nothing. He says absolutely nothing than just 3-word sentences, and after every 3 words, the audience claps and laughs as if he is the most hilarious man on the planet. Fast forward to him getting through the, hey, how's your month been? It's awkward for me, huh? I got canceled 3 times this month. Ha ha. Once we get through all that nonsense, he then, the only bit he has, which we milk for 15 straight minutes, is about how YouTube has come out with 3 new magical words you cannot say. And apparently, Tony Hinchcliffe is the only person who got the memo.
What are we doing?
I didn't get an email about it. Podcasters didn't get an email about it. Other comedians didn't get an email about it. Tony Hinchcliffe is the only one who knows that you can no longer say the F word when related to our allies in the LGBTQ plus community, the 3-letter F word that no one really likes to say anymore. The C word in reference to, you know what I mean, a kind of a mean, argumentative female. Some people would use it. Listen, apparently they say it in England all the time, okay? It's fine, but we don't say it here in this country because it's a bit disrespectful.
What are we doing?
And then there's one other word, which I'm sure is just a word that no one should be using on a daily basis anyways. And Tony's pissed about it because this means he can't say it on Kill Tony Live because YouTube is where they make apparently a bunch of money from the advertisers on AdSense, aka they won't be monetized. If someone comes on Kill Tony and says the F word, the C word, all these forbidden words, now Tony won't make his nut for the month and he can't afford whatever hotel room he sleeps in on a nightly basis. And so we get through that 20-minute bit. Then he talks about Donald Trump some more. And that's it, dude. He doesn't say anything funny. He doesn't say anything that we didn't already know. And he is just riding this wave, thanking God, praising whatever fashion manufacturer makes the vest and belt buckles and the tightest pants on the planet that he wore during this special that Donald Trump won the election.
What are we doing?
And for reasons that he explains halfway through, because YouTube doesn't allow you to say these words, and this is the only bit he could come up with, he sits there and has unknown comedians give him gold every single week. And the best bit that Tony Hinchcliffe can come up with, because he could be ripping off these guys. Half these guys are not the William Montgomerys. They're not the Casey Rockets. They're not the Dave Lucases. And Dave Lucas, by the way, just steals his jokes from Twitter. So let's just be real about what it all actually is. He could be stealing the jokes from his stand-up comedy people that does his show every week, because half of them won't make it. And he could actually put together a decent hour-long special, and half the people would not know the wiser.
What are we doing?
His new multi-million-dollar friends at Netflix wouldn't know the wiser, but instead, he put a 20-minute bit about how you can't say the word FAG on YouTube, and that was the meat and potatoes of everything Tony Hinchcliffe gave us to just bring us all back to the fact that he gives a shit about pollution and landfills and how Puerto Rico has a problem with them. And apparently what we didn't know about the joke was that they have an issue and it's overflowing and the streets have garbage in them, and he really cares about the fucking environment of Puerto Rico.
What are we doing?
And that's why he said what he said, dude. So get with the times.